people like Professor Manjul Bhargav is always way ahead of many of us in terms of thinking, ideas, innovations, problem solving, and whatnot. We want to speak about the human talent and the ability which spreads across the various facets of human activity. I think the good symbol I can give is he is such an extraordinary brain that it was nice that India tapped him, used him, and made sure that his inputs, ideas, and all other things for which he has the asset which is very, very, very rare in many of the human beings were fully taken care of. If you talk of NAP and the success of NAP, I owe quite a lot to Manju. And that too working in a place, US, and working on a 24/7, that means we can sleep and work, but he works and works. That's how it turned out to be. We had heard Srimati Sudhamurthy on her extraordinary ideas. She is the one who really showed the relation between the ancient India, the language of Sanskrit, and the words of wisdom that the Sanskrit, whether it is Subhashidani or many other kinds of things, she just quoted so easily, connected it with the kind of education that they implied in the ancient India, and then brought it back to the Chanakya University and saw how relevant it is today. And she gave it with beautiful examples. So this is another kind of a thing that we heard today. And then you have, of course, people like Kiran, Mazumdar, Mohan, and others. So they are people who look far ahead. They could not have made the systems that they built for this country, but for what they are. So it was such a kind of a thing. Of course, we have here Chris, and we have here the Dongre, and my own friend, a time-tested friend, all-weather friend, Dr. Sridhar, who is now the Chancellor, and the Minister with whom I worked in the recent past with regard to the national education policy. He has taken all of our expectations, he has overtaken all our expectations, I should say, with respect to many things that he has done in Karnataka in moving the NEP. And I cannot also forget Yedyurapaji. He's the person, I have approached him for many things when he was the Chief Minister. He made me the Chairman of the Karnataka Knowledge Commission. But most importantly, I should say, I went to get a place like you got the place for the university to the International Center for Theatrical Studies. And he immediately brought the map of Bangalore, the location, and he showed me, now you find out where you want it. And then I showed that this looks to be very attractive. He called his engineer and told, please mark this immediately and process the paper and put it to me immediately, I'll get it. And they got it. Within days they got it. And when I heard about the story of the Chanakya University and the generosity, the understanding with which he gave it, there's only one thing that is running common thread about his decision making. The decision making is based on who approaches him, how trustworthy he is, and if he takes the chance of not going into all details, which is needed as a government organization, can he trust it so that it will never become an issue? And I think all his good decisions that he has taken, like ICTS or Chanakya University, reflects that aspect of the trust, very critical in this country to run the systems. And we are very happy today he is here for this. I said all these preliminaries only because of the fact that the Chanakya University is going to be what it is because of all these personalities. They are going to be there with the system for many years to come. And that is what is making what gives me confidence is the fact that these are the people who will guide it, mentor it, support it in the coming years. And there is no question, having heard them today, there is no question that the Chanakya University is going to see places, going to go to heights, which I am sure many of you are expected. The research university, world-class research university. In this backdrop, I just want to say a few things which I thought I should prepare and talk to you, but I could not resist talking something extempore. I am delighted to be a part of this memorable evening and sharing the excitement of the birth of an institution that will bring its own rightful share of influence in shaping the destiny of our great nation, Bharat, as we progress into the 21st century. Bharat, with its extraordinary legacy and heritage, is at a turning point in the context of its making a transition towards what our Honorable Prime Minister characterized as developed India. India is set to become the world's third largest economy by 2027. I hope I am right, Mohan. India's GDP could be more than double from 3.5 trillion to surpass 7.5 trillion. These are numbers too well. Quoting I am today, I'm dating. By 2031. India's rapid strides in the information technology, biotechnology, space technology, energy systems, including nuclear energy and many other areas, certainly are assuring in terms of its growth projections. Further, the recent easing of private investments in a number of industrial, commercial, and other related areas, together with the emergence of unicorns and other types of startups, has been unprecedented. A case point being, today India is the home to 107 unicorns valued at 340 billion. And another good example today to tell that yesterday we had a first private launch of a private rocket which was built totally by the private sector. So these are the characteristics of a country which is progressing and is to play a meaningful role in the context of the 21st century. The ambitious agenda towards a vision for India in 2047, that is what Mohan said, the 100th year, that the 100th year of its India is beautifully encrypted in the word Amrit, which stands for A for access, inclusion and equity, M for maximizing technology, R for research, innovation and creativity, I for internationalization, T for towards a sustainable future. Central to this entire vision is for Bharat to reach a preeminent position as a leader in the areas of education, research and innovation. This recognition made the present government to go for a totally revamped educational agenda that fulfills the aspirational goals of the 21st century youth, to have a meaningful, constructive role as a part of the society and its development. I see Chanakya University as a fitting response to this Amrit vision, entering the vast and intricate knowledge arena at the most opportune moment, with its aspiration to reach the peak of its performance, the foreseeable future. This university is destined to witness transforming itself into a world-class research university well before it reaches its silver jubilee year, that is, coinciding with India's 100th year of independence. I see a great journey ahead, beginning today, which all of us here are highly privileged to be a part of. Chanakya University has been founded by great visionaries whose credentials are unmatched, whose familiarity with education, academics and related activities impeccable, and whose commitment and dedication to the cause of education is unparalleled. Some of them have been also a part of the drawing up of the vision and mission of the new education policy 2020. This has brought in additional authenticity to the purpose, vision, and values in conceptualizing the academic architecture of this institution. Some of the most eminent individuals who symbolize the foundational spirit of this university are here with us. I can see here Professor Manjul, we talked about it, Dr. Ashwathan, Dr. Sudhamurthy, Dr. Sitaram Jindal, Professor Sridhar, Professor Gopalakrishnan, Mohan Das Pai, as well as Biocon leader. I don't want even, she is so eminent amongst us. There are, of course, I do recognize also the presence of very distinguished members of the Board of Governors the Board of Management, and of the International Advisory Council among the members. Of course, we have both the Vice Chancellor and Post Chancellor here along with us in this group. To these names, I am sure you will add in the near future several more pioneers. I want to call them pioneers because still the time is not out that people can just enter into the arena and still call themselves as pioneers for this university. But they will be whose commitment and dedication to the cause of education is unparalleled. Some of them have been provide the base for this institution. Many of them will provide the base for this, what this institution will be in the coming years, the pioneers that I have been talking about. Needless to emphasize, and I want to say these leaders who will be added now further to these pioneers have unique ability, strong enough to lead, wise enough to listen, and willing enough to subordinate individual ambition to collective advancement. That is the uniqueness of the pioneers that we will have for Chanakya University in the coming years. I would like to use this occasion to briefly highlight the importance and the key role that the universities play in progress of any nation. Universities are the fountains which the nation building rests. They symbolize academic freedom and fountainhead of inspiration, acting as perennial sources to generate and disseminate new ideas and knowledge. Secondly, the world-class universities engage in cutting-edge research along with teaching the next generation, their students. Further, world-class universities produce students who will go on to be the leaders in all walks of life, specifically in scholarship, the professions, and public life. Thirdly, great universities must allow their researchers the freedom to experiment, succeed, and sometimes fail. The researchers should be able to make grand mistakes as well as grand discoveries. It is often through making these mistakes that the grand discoveries are made. Lastly, the world-class universities have permeable boundaries. This implies encouraging interdisciplinary research and teaching, working with other agencies like private sector, and fostering and encouraging partnership with industry, and even encouraging international collaboration. The bottom line is that the world-class universities look outward, think beyond conventional boundaries of today. The students that we educate today will have opportunities to go and live and work in a range of cultures. We must equip them for this life for teaching, offering other types of experiences, meeting their contemporaries elsewhere, and so on. The question of bringing about transformation in the Indian universities so that they become really examples of international diversity is going to be quite challenging. As a first step, we could experiment with bringing in several diverse cultures that this country offers to be brought within the ambience of a university environment so that the broader national outlook is made possible. I am saying these because this university have certainly enormous potential in the era of globalization. The question is whether we can boldly take up these opportunities and make a virtue of the same. Now I would like to focus on about certain aspects of national education policy, reflecting on the immediate interests of Chanakya University. Of course, we discussed this today as a part of the advisory council. The first relates to that of the multidisciplinarity and holistic liberal education. A lot of this has been said by the previous speakers with special focus on undergraduate level. The central idea of this approach is to educate to ensure that a strategy, especially in today's context, that will enable students to explore the numerous remarkable intertwined relationships that exist between the science and the humanities, mathematics and arts, medicine and physics, and etc., and more generally, to explore the surprising unity of all human endeavors. This holistic aspect aims to develop all capacities, not just intellectual, but aesthetic, social, physical, emotional, and moral in an integrated manner. The 21st century calls for this kind of education considering the focusing narrowly on acquiring information and developing skills could lead to frequent obsolescence. The time frame of 4 years of undergraduate education should devote considerable efforts to learn, how to acquire information, and how to develop skills. This means learning to learn and read closely, to think critically, to disentangle arguments, and to separate truth from untruth. These capabilities that broad liberal education in arts and sciences fosters more readily than in a narrow, focused technical preparation. Chanakya University should certainly commit itself to this kind of education, and I was happy to hear about this today in several discussions in this university. To provide another perspective to this approach, I would like to quote from the observations of Albert Einstein, and I quote, "Overemphasis on competitive system and premature specialization on the ground of immediate usefulness kill the spirit on which all cultural life depends, specialized knowledge included. It is also vital to a valuable education that independent critical thinking be developed in a wide young human being, a development that is greatly jeopardized by overburdening him with too much and too varied subjects. Overburdening necessarily means also superficiality. Teaching should be such that what is offered is perceived as a valuable gift and not as a hard duty." Another important point I'd like to make relates to the preservation of the achievements of humankind over eons through collections of books and manuscripts, works of arts and literature, objects and artifacts. The great strides that the humankind has made over millennia, besides providing enrichment to human saga of progress, has also been the edifice for building new knowledge through successive generations and need to be celebrated. We impart the appreciation of these achievements through our teaching and research. In this context, one of the key missions of Chanakya University is the preservation and achievement and enrichment of knowledge and culture. The introduction of a specialized education system on Indian knowledge systems exemplifies this objective for enrichment, besides its influential role in providing unique insights to the first present-day problems in a variety of human endeavors. I would also like to call of you to recognize the central importance of basic research as an enabler of enrichment and repository of ideas and helping to fund innovation. I may mention that India's ranking among the emerging economies in terms of research support leaves much to be desired. Only the other day, Mr. Narayana Murthy, founder, Infosys, and an eminent visionary of this country, lamented about the inadequate research support, unsatisfactory aspects of the quality of higher education, and the poor global ranking of the Indian higher educational institutions, with resultant impact on the vital development, for example, in the areas like vaccine or a variety of healthcare needs. On the other side, taking cognizance of the recommendation of the NEP 2020 for the establishment of a National Research Foundation to spur research systems in the universities and allied institutions, the recent announcement by Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, Sri Basavaraj Bommaiji, about the creation of a Karnataka State Research Foundation is truly a welcome step in the context of enabling higher education institutions to adopt open science and research, support for university-based cutting-edge research, among many other incentives. Under the oversight and visionary leadership of Dr. Ashwatthanaranji, I am sure he is well known to give extra impetus to all his challenging roles. The initiatives of Karnataka government is sure to fructify. I say this with full conviction that Chanakya University should bring the research culture right from the day one. Even though we will discuss many things in the coming months and years and develop several ideas in knowledge creation, dissemination, and utilization, I find no better way to end my address than to return back to the wisdom of Albert Einstein, who said the following while speaking to a group of young students, and I quote, "Bear in mind that the wonderful things that you learn in your institutions are works of many generations, produced by enthusiastic support and infinite labor in every country of the world. All this is put into your hands as your inheritance in order that you may receive it, honor it, add to it, and one day faithfully hand it over to your children. Thus do we mortals achieve immortality in the permanent things which we create in common. If you always keep that in mind, you will find a meaning in life and work and acquire the right attitude towards other nations and ages. I unquote. I'm sure Chanakya University, with its laudable value systems encompassing many different dimensions of human thoughts and endeavor, should leave a legacy which in a sense could become a part of immortality, finding its place among the permanent things which you create in common. What better way to pay tribute to the name which you have so thoughtfully chosen for this university? Thank you.